So there you have it. Father says he'll disown his son, and the son says he will never ally with the BJP again. But it wasn't a mistake last time. So that was a bit of a escape route. That
Yes,
it wasn't a mistake. I did it for the party.
He nuanced it. He said it wasn't a mistake. I did it to save the party for my father. But he also said my father was very angry. He landed up in hospital, and I went to the hospital and I apologized to him, and I will never do it again. But yes, so if he did it once to save the party for his father, he can do it the second time.
Save the party.
Absolutely.
And save the state.
Yes.
But tell me, Maya, for all these denials, and you've heard it repeatedly, there's still a general underlying belief that they will tie up, if necessary, if there's a hung assembly.
You know, if you talk to Mr. Deve Gowda, his sympathies would seem to be more towards the Congress, as it has been in the past. But there is a different factor, and that's a Siddaramaiah factor. Siddaramaiah, of course, was part of the Janata Dal Secular. He was part of Team Deve Gowda, and he went away.
There's a personal animosity.
There's a personal angle there, which does seem to be personal
that's
animosity.
a good point.
So that may colour the Congress
So if he goes with Congress, he may put a condition that you change your chief minister.
So you forget the fact that in the middle of all this, if somebody is 12 seats short, buying of MLAs is not unheard of. This is the famous Operation Kamal last time.
Right.
There'll be 8-10 independents. So, I think once you get into 80-85, then you are in the akhada.
You can also lease them.
That's right, you can lease them. You can
The famous Reddy brothers were credited with bringing in those extra seats in 2008.
So I think some resort in Maharashtra, some place is going to get rich again.
Correct, that's right. So Kerala this time probably.
General unanimity amongst you three that if there is a hung assembly, it's going to be BJP plus JDS MLAs or BJP plus JDS.
Or the Congress with Siddaramaiah.
Without
and Karnataka.
Siddaramaiah.
Different role.
Well, I'd say that today, if the Congress party is short by 15 or more, you can be absolutely sure that BJP will set up something, because they have now shown you in state after state.
They ain't very good at handling.
Yes, when a verdict is uncertain, they will stitch them up together. They formed a government in Nagaland where they don't even have one MLA.
Correct.
Now that's the numbers and who's going to win angle, and we'll be coming back with another battleground and update all those numbers once we've travelled across the state. We've been travelling so far right from Bangalore all across to Davangere up to this beautiful place. And I must point out, right across there is also a mosque, and as I mentioned earlier, this is a mutt where both Hindus and Muslims pray for many, many, many decades. It's a wonderful symbolism of what India's...
And there's no barrier between the mosque and the mutt. People can freely go from one to the other.
Actually. Apart from that, analysts talk about caste being so important in Karnataka. So does caste really matter? Just have a look at the basic rundown of caste, how the state is divided. As Shekhar said, a very heterogeneous state. So these caste numbers are also a bit controversial. Some people say they have different numbers, but this is the kind of most accurate we could get to. But I would say there's no way of verifying it. There's never been a caste census that's been published. So major castes, as we all know, are Lingayats 17%, Vokaligas 12%, Muslims 13%, Kurubas, that's Siddaramaiah's caste 8%, scheduled castes 17%, and scheduled tribes 7%. So scheduled tribes and scheduled castes together are 24%. And how are they distributed on around the state? So we've redrawn the Karnataka map, not by the normal Bombay Karnataka, Hyderabad Karnataka, Andhra Karnataka. Those are kind of historic and slightly meaningless divisions, if you ask me, especially for elections. So we've redrawn it according to castes and vote patterns. And this is what it basically looks like. The Karnataka map looked at from a caste basis. First, let's have a look at the north-central Lingayat belt. The north-central belt. It goes right down from the north, and there are 62 seats. And you can see there's predominantly the north and then a pocket in the central belt. And if you look at the entire eastern side, that's the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe belt. and that's another 62 seats. Again, here these are seats where scheduled castes and scheduled tribes are the most dominant caste in each constituency. They're not 100%, but they may be 30%, 40%, but bigger than the second biggest caste. Then if you look at the southern belt, the well-known Vocaliga belt, that is 43 seats, and that's right across the south. A very significant one, and that's where the JDS, Devagowda and Kumaraswamy have really such a firm grip, at least so far. And then finally, if we look at the western coastal belt. Now, a lot of people think the western coastal belt is a Muslim belt. No, it's not. It's got mixed castes. In fact, Muslims are a minority in most of these seats. Muslims are strong in the western coastal belt only in Mangalore and in Bhatkar. In the rest, it's no dominant caste at all. In the western coastal belt, which we call a mixed caste belt, has got 33 seats. So that's it. North Central Lingayat 62, East Scheduled Caste, Scheduled Tribe, the Southern Vocaliga Belt, and the East Mixed Caste. If you look at the Muslim seats, there are 24 Muslim seats where Muslims are more than 25%. They are dotted around Karnataka. They're not a homogeneous zone. They're dotted around, and mainly in little towns and cities. That's where the Muslim voters are concentrated. So Dora, this pattern where you see heterogeneity, as Shekhar was pointing out earlier, does that mean the swing will go one way in one area and another way in another area, or do you believe in uniform swing?
You know,
that's a tough question.
Yeah, because Lingayats, for instance, go mainly with the BJP, but each party has Lingayat leaders.
Yes.
Particularly the Congress in all parties. So it is not a caste-driven party. So the Congress has Vocaliga leaders. But the question is, the dominance is of the Lingayats will be the BJP, while dominance with the Vocaligas will be with the JDS.
Yeah.
So the question is then, when the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, who have a hell of a lot of seats, what will they do and what will the minorities do?
Right. And we look at that in a little more detail. But Shekhar, I wanted to ask you, going beyond caste. Everybody focuses caste because something easy to grapple with and sound very...
And there are no precise figures.
Yeah, it's lovely. So that's why we're going to dwell on caste a bit, because we don't know much. What are the other issues like corruption? I mean, the BJP has fought elections on corruption a lot. It started this campaign as Siddaramaiah is corrupt, but then there was a bit of a faux pas by Amit Shah, slip of the tongue, where he called Yediyurappa #1 most corrupt, then said, oops, sorry. But now they've kind of toned it down with the Bellari brothers coming in. So corruption, the Lingayat issue, what are the other political issues?
Well, the usual issue against an incumbent is corruption in India. That is now gone. One, because unlike Siddaramaiah, Yediyurappa has a history of being investigated, prosecuted for corruption. The former Lokayukt has made statements which are quite damning. Number two, BJP has got the Bellari brothers. So having called them all the not very nice things, if the BJP gets them on board, and just a month before elections, CBI writes to government of Karnataka and says there is nothing tangible in all the cases against them and they should be withdrawn, people draw obvious conclusions. So the basic thing will be that this government is not delivered, state is not developed, bring us back in. Mr. Modi is in Delhi, money will come from Delhi, and as we can see in this state, water is a very big issue. When the state is at its driest, people forget that Karnataka has the second largest arid zone in the country after Rajasthan.
I didn't know that. Right.
It's a very arid state. So water is a very big issue.
So apart from corruption, since both sides are corrupt, like I remember Cho Ramaswamy once telling me that all elections are like voting between a pickpocket and a thief. So like that can't be an issue in this election. But what about a couple of other things, like is there anti-incumbency? And then the Modi factor. We've just been around, not seen too many people, and we're going to talk to many, many more. But Modi factor still exists in Karnataka, especially amongst the young voters.
Yes, it does. First, I just want to mention about corruption as well. When they do talk about the Reddy brothers, the BJP fires back with cases against DK Shiv Kumar, cases against KJ George. So there's always, the defense is always, you do it too. It's like, which is a very sad defense, but that is the
very
defense.
tough for
Yes.
it to be an election issue.
Yeah. But Modi, yes, definitely. His rallies around the country, he's had some rallies in the state already so far. There's a different energy level. It is very largely Siddaramaiah versus the national leaders, the national BJP leaders. Siddaramaiah does have that draw at rallies, but
He's also a good speaker.
he's also
right?
very good. He's also very good.
Which means he won't last long in the Congress. As soon as you're too good a speaker, you're out.
Well, he wasn't in Congress. He's an import.
He's imported from the JDS.
And anti-incumbency, that is a natural
Yeah,
factor
and-
unless you do well. Well, again, putting it very simply, since 2001, Indian elections have been 50-50. There's no real anti-incumbency anymore. And it's generally tied to how well you run the state, how the opposition unity has been, other factors rather than just anti-incumbency, throw the guy out.
But in Karnataka, for decades now, the same government
Revolving door.
hasn't come back. It has not come back. Siddaramaiah has got a mixed review, a mixed report card. There have not been like any major crises like there were for the BJP government with 3 chief ministers and chief ministers stepping down for corruption. But issues like Bengaluru's development, the mess that Bengaluru is in many ways, it's made international headlines. And then fingers will be pointed to the chief minister who's in charge at that point.
Right. So we put all these questions, some pretty tricky ones, to the face of the BJP in the state, Mr. Yediyurappa. And let's see what his answers were.